Hey yo, gang. So I know I'm always doing a little reaction video to like mostly rapper stuff or crime videos and whatnot. But check out this, yo. You hear about this new headset that Apple is dropping? Now we gonna check this review by Marquez. I mean, I feel like everybody knows this guy. This guy has been doing reviews literally for as long as I could remember being on YouTube. So yeah, let's just Oh, I'm in a whole different account. That's why. But anywho's, that don't matter. But I'm gonna give him a new subscribe. All right, bet. Cause I was like, wait, what? But that makes sense. Don't even worry about this, y'all. But check this out, bro.
Okay, I've used the new Apple Vision Pro. I have about a 30-minute demo just using this new headset. I had about 1 trillion questions, so I tried to ask as many of them as I possibly could of Apple to get all the answers I could.
I think I'm gonna go in and try to use that myself, bro. Cause it look crazy, bro. I might get that. I mean, I got mad Apple products, so I might get that, bro.
For you and for myself. So, without any further ado, let's just jump right in. This is everything you need to know so far about Apple's new AR VR headset. So the first question, naturally, what is it? So first things first, this is a first generation device from Apple, which we don't see very often, but it is an augmented reality slash virtual reality headset with a bunch of cameras and sensors inside that you strap to your face. It'll start at $3,500 and it'll go on sale starting sometime early next year. Nobody's been able to shoot video of using it yet, so I'm gonna have to do my best.
Wait, yeah, you're right. Like when you think about it, this is like their newest. It's been a while since they made a new device. You know what I mean? They haven't really made a new phone. Like when you think about it, like it's the same iPhone, just getting better, right? It's not like different versions of the iPhone. They don't really do that. They don't really make different versions of the Mac. They don't really make different versions of their iPad. It's like the same thing with just different tweaks, but like like I mean, yeah, you could kind of say they do, looking at the word variations, but like not where Google would have the Pixel and then like some other Google phone and some other Google phone, you know what I mean? And then you'll have LG with the Razer and then or Motorola or whoever, and they'll have a different type of phone and the Pebble and this type of this, you know what I mean? It's not like that. So this is their newest addition to the Apple family.
With descriptions here, but fundamentally, this isn't something that's paired to your iPhone or your Mac by default. It's a standalone computer
That's
with
sick.
an M2 chip inside, its own Wi-Fi connection, a roughly 4K micro OLED display for each eye, a set of speakers right above each ear on the band, and then a dedicated new R1 chip, which is doing all of the real-time processing from all the sensors that make this headset pretty special, but we'll get to that in a second. So alright then, how does it work? Well, basically, we've seen VR headsets and AR headsets before. It's typically there's screens on the inside, and then on the outside there's some sort of shell which has some sensors on the outside that help detect what is in your room around you and help to see the controllers in your hands. But with this one, there are no controllers at all. They're not making any for it. There aren't going to be any optional accessory. They're not even going to design any controllers. You are controlling this thing entirely with your hands and your eyes and your voice. So you put this headset on, and basically all over the headset there are an absolute ton of sensors. You have two main forward-facing cameras, two downward-facing cameras, two more cameras for the sides, two infrared illuminators, a LiDAR scanner, a true depth camera. These are all to keep track of what's happening around the headset and also to track your hands in front of your face. And then on the inside, there's also a bunch of infrared illuminators and infrared cameras that are purely there, just there, to track your eyes. So there's actually a setup process. Before you even get the headset, you basically measure, you sort of scan your face with the true depth camera on the iPhone, and it uses that depth information about your face to give you a sort of a custom cutout. This will be a process that you can do in Apple stores. But basically, you get the headset with the custom cutout for your face. If you have glasses, there are some Zeiss lenses, but you finally get the headset.
Bro, that is sick, bro. Cause look at this, bro. Let's look at the possible futures of this. I might talk about this on my podcast. I have two podcasts named Artelligence In that podcast, I speak only about the future of creativity and AI and technology, like what is to come, what is happening now in the space of generative art and AI making art, and how we artists, because obviously if you're seeing this and if you're on my page, you know I'm an artist, you know I love to draw. I went to school for drawing. I lived in Rome for drawing and painting. Like I really love this. I've been drawing for 23 years. I draw with both hands, you know, like I do this. This is what I want to do with the rest of my life, right? And I look at what's happening in the world and I see technology and I love technology because while going to school in the Caribbean, I wanted to be an engineer. But I'm still like a tech geek at heart, but I love art. So I merged the two things that I love into a podcast. It's a new one. There's not that many episodes, but I talk only about the future of art and technology, right? And then I have another podcast that's a little older named Just a Thought, where I just bring up random topics and I just share a thought on them, you know what I mean? Just for discussion with other people, this, that, and the third, just to network and expose my own thoughts, my own self, so people could understand how I think as like an artist. You know, if you're following me as an artist, I want you to know like the kind of person I actually am too. Like, all right, my drawings might be cool, my paintings might be cool, but who am I? You know what I mean? So there's Just a Thought and Artelligence. I might talk about this a little bit more in depth on one of these podcasts. I mean, actually both, because I could break up this topic into two aspects, right? Because you know, VR headsets and the art space, metaverse and digital painting, 3D painting, it's been happening, right? And this could take it to a whole nother level. Like with him just saying that you have to like scan your face now to, you know, get this like imprint, this custom version of your face to like get, well, this virtual version of your face to get like custom you know, settings, right? I just foresaw a whole new future with virtual skins, virtual clothing, virtual add-ons, any virtual add-on, virtual avatars. Like I could see Apple entering that space. Like, you know how the emoticons, you now have, you can make emoticons of yourself. Imagine 2 3 iPhones from now, or next year, 2 years from now, you have these versions of yourself that like, you know, this custom AR version of your, this virtual version of yourself, right? Like maybe not even an NFT, but you just scan your face through your iPhone and boom, now your emoticons could be literally virtual versions of you, bro. You know what I mean? I could see that happening. And then in the art space, I could see this being used because this is a whole computer on your face, bro. I sit down as an artist on my computer like every day doing graphic design, editing, or whatever. Imagine if I have something like this, bro, and I'm like walking around with this thing and I could actually multitask and text on that, right? Like voice to text while doing that, while typing away in front of a real computer, and then have like some virtual business meeting going on in this virtual augmented space right here. So all I gotta do is look over here in the headset, and I'm now looking at 5 6 different people all over the world doing different type of artistries. Like maybe we collaborating on a logo or a flyer, a campaign, or something like that. And I could be in the studio at the same time, get up from my computer, go paint something, and while I'm painting it live, they're seeing me do it, and I could look over on the other side in the augmented reality and also be painting that same painting in a virtual space at the exact same time. Bro, like think about that, bro. That's crazy, bro. Like I gotta get one of these.
Out and you put it on, and there's some nice meshing on the back, some fabric that stretches and is pretty breathable. It's built extremely well with all this metal and glass. And then
bro.
once you get it going, the most impressive thing about
4K?
this headset, the most
Nah, I
impressive
got
thing,
that, bro.
is the eye tracking. I'm not even kidding. This eye tracking is sick. So basically, the eye tracking in this headset, as it looks at your eyes and keeps track of where your eyes move around, is the closest thing that I've experienced to like magic. Like I normally don't call tech things sort of magical or surreal like this, but this was, even for a pre-release product, kind of unbelievable how well it does. Anytime you move your eyes around the UI, it would immediately highlight and select exactly what you're looking at, no matter how small the target was or what you're looking at. And then when you want to select something, all you do is take your fingers like this and just touch them together. That's how you click. So you look at something, click. Look at something, click. So there's a calibration
That's
process when you
sick.
first set up the headset, you put it on for the first time, where you basically just look around with your eyes at a bunch of different dots so it learns your eyes. And then yeah, from that point on, you're just cruising, you're sailing through everything by just looking at things. And it feels like telepathic. You just look at something and select it, and that's it. So this is how the whole UI works. Pretty much every other headset has the ability to use your hands to select things, but most of them rely on the sensors on the outside to keep track of a set of controllers for maximum accuracy. But this massive array of sensors on the outside of Apple's headset have done an impressively good job of picking up what my hand is doing, kind of no matter where it is. So like I said, there's sensors all the way around the thing. They're facing forward, but they're facing sideways and facing down, so I can just kind of rest my hand like wherever and look at stuff and click. I don't even have to move my head. I can just look at something and just click my fingers. I kind of did it by accident a few times. Like I'd just sort of be sitting there and my fingertips would actually touch and I'd select whatever I was looking at. But pretty quickly you get used to just this. Just
Oh, that
there are
is
also some text
impressive.
boxes occasionally you want to type something, and so you can look at the text box, select it, and then a keyboard will pop up, and you can look at the letters. But also, you can just look at a search box field and just start talking, and it'll start filling in whatever you're saying because there's microphones on the headset.
Nah, that's
And there's
nuts.
also
That's nuts, bro. That's nuts. That's so time efficient, bro. What? Imagine, bro. You just look over in your search bar. You start, yeah. So which article talks about boom, 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 while you're actually typing away somewhere else, bro. Like I.
something they're calling Optic ID, which is basically kind of just a fingerprint ID.
Oh, don't even, bro. What? Go ahead, bro. That's too sick.
Of the headset because it's looking at your eyes, and everyone's eyes is a different, unique
That's too
biometric
sick.
pattern, and so you log in just by putting the headset on and it looks at your eyes. So Optic ID, this thing knows your eyes really well. So you've probably seen all these weird looking frames where you can see people's eyes through it, like this super weird thing that I've never seen in any other headset. So what is happening here? Well, spoiler alert, it's not actually transparent. It kind of looks like it's a glass transparent thing, but it's not. It appears to be because there's actually an OLED screen.
Oh no, that is too sick, bro. That is too sick. Like the possibilities of that, bro. Like they could have updates where you could buy bro. Like I could design face covers for this, bro. So you got your goggles on, and instead of seeing your actual face, we could have it boom that it display some other face, bro, like a ninja mask with a yellow skin, like or words. You know what I mean? You could, bro, like cyberpunk type. You know what I mean? Like that would be so sick, bro.
Facing out. This is what I would call a two-way pass-through.
Go ahead.
See, a normal VR headset we've seen is, of course, completely opaque. Usually it's like black plastic or something like that. So in order to see through to your actual environment without taking the headset off, like for picking up your controllers or walking around a room without hitting a wall, they have a pass-through mode. So it'll turn on a camera on the outside so you can see what's going on around you. And some pass-through modes are better than others. Some will do it from a single black and white camera. Some will do stereo pass-through from two cameras. Some will do color pass-through. The pass-through on Apple's headset is, again, the best I've ever seen in a headset. It's stereo, it's color, it's sharp, it's real time. It's really good. So then the eyes you see from the outside are actually an OLED display showing what your eyes look like to the cameras inside the headset. So it shows your eyes like this whenever you're using any sort of pass-through mode, and if you can see your environment, it'll show your eyes. So you're not actually like looking at someone's eyes, but it kind of feels like you are. Kind of creepy a little bit. I don't know. It's the simplest way of explaining it. If they're doing something fully immersive in VR, like watching a movie or playing a game, then it won't show their eyes. It'll show this graphic over their eyes.
Oh, that's what I was just talking about. But in oh, mm, that's sick, bro. That's so sick. That's so sick. How many of y'all got 4K, bro?
It's a really interesting look. It's a bold look. I just have this like thought of like you're on a airplane and the flight attendant walks up and taps you. Hey, do you want any water? And you just look up and your eyes shine through the headset. It's just a weird thing. I don't think it's smart, but I don't think other headsets are going to do it because most of them don't have it in the budget to have a screen facing the outside. But then let's get to the burning question you've probably already been thinking. What does it actually do? So okay, I'm separating this into three bulk categories that I made up and I'm kind of proud of here, which are computing, content, and connections. Now, actually, I should preface this all by saying this is a first-gen product, so right now the only apps that show up on the home screen are Apple's apps. Just like when the first iPhone came out with no app stores, just Apple's apps. But the reason this is coming out, or at least getting announced so early, but it's not coming out till next year, is to give this window for developers to start developing their own apps and making cool things for this headset to do that are way more interesting and way more functional, but it does have a core set of functions. So for computing, I think this is the one that's probably the least likely to be used by most normal people, but it is a pretty direct shot at what Meta just did with the Quest Pro, the $1,500 Quest Pro. So you can use this thing as its own computer with web browsing, etc., with these 4K windows in front of you that you can move around and do all kinds of stuff with your hands. Now, this will be its own OS. Again, it's not running off your phone or anything. It's running a whole new operating system called Vision OS. And it seems pretty similar to iPad OS, just in the fact that, you know, you're just touching things in iPad OS, and in this headset you look at something and then you touch your fingers together, and that's basically just like a normal touch. But I was really impressed with the responsiveness. Again, this was better than any headset I've seen with just your hands. If I wanted to scroll through something like a Safari window, I literally, in air, would touch my fingers together and drag the window, and it would scroll nearly in real time. I would like throw it around, like toss it, catch it, toss it the other way, and start scrolling through things with my finger, resizing windows, dragging the corners of things, and I was super impressed with that too. Now, if you're like me, you might have also had some questions about the sharpness, like do I really want to wear something like this for a long time to work like it's on a computer? And I think that was also pretty smartly addressed. They use a selective rendering based on the super good eye tracking. So the computing power is basically focusing on sharply rendering the part of the screen that you're actually looking at while saving power on the rest. It's pretty cool, and it works so quickly that I did not notice it while using it. And then the part you're looking at is actually very sharp. Like I said before, they're super high resolution screens, they're 4K. I don't know if I have a number for refresh rate, but it felt like 120 hertz. And, you know, eye fatigue will eventually become a thing with any headset you strap to your face, but this would be on the lower level of eye fatigue compared to what I've experienced with some others. And then for even more heavy work, this is kind of nuts, but they showed it in the keynote. Apparently, if you have a Mac and you want to do Mac OS stuff, you can just, with the headset on, just look at your Mac, and it will pick up what you're doing, and it'll mirror the Mac's display as one of the 4K windows for you in the headset.
Oh.
And then you can even connect a Bluetooth keyboard and a Bluetooth trackpad and start working around like it's an actual Mac, just with a bigger screen wherever you want. Yeah, ecosystem stuff. So that's...
Bro, what? So what if you could like share a screen on it from your Mac, right? So instead of you mirroring your Mac screen, you're working on like a whole different screen. So like what if, you know, you're using your Mac, you look at your Mac, you make a new screen in the augmented reality right next to your Mac, and on your Mac you have 2-3 windows, whatever, that you're working on right in front of you. And then when you look over to the other space, there's this virtual window that you're working on from the headset. That would save processing on your Mac and processing on the headset, since you're splitting the load. And then that would also save energy in some regard, and time. But yeah, I mean, It's just sick, bro. I wonder what else you got.
That's computing. I definitely got to try it. But then, of course, there's the connection stuff. You got messaging. You can type out messages to people just like as if you were on a Mac. But there's also, impressively, FaceTime. Now, I don't even know that this is necessarily better than a normal FaceTime holding your phone or like on a laptop, other than the fact that I guess you don't have to be holding anything. But you can have people's windows floating in front of you as you talk to them on FaceTime. But you might also be asking, wait a second, if I'm not holding my phone in front of me, what do other people on FaceTime see?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the answer is they'll see a 3D rendered
That's what I'm talking about, bro. That's what I was talking about. After you render your face, now your face is stored, bro. So, bro, bro, no, bro. This is too sick. This is the future right here, bro. I mean, everything that's been coming out is the future, but this is sick. This is actually like a turning point, bro. This is real Star Trek shit, bro. For real.
model of you that was scanned into the system from your iPhone that syncs up and matches the movements of your face with
No,
eye
bro.
tracking and all the other sensors of the
No,
headset. So
bro.
I got to try it. It is it works. Okay, so it's not as good as obviously looking at a person. I just feel like a FaceTime, you're trying to have like a personal connection with the person, and this is obviously more personal than an avatar or like a cartoon of you, but it's just it feels kind of somewhere in between. It's kind of like a Google Project Starline, which I just did that video about a couple weeks ago. If you haven't already seen that, I'll leave a link with a like button so you can check it out. But it feels sort of in that like uncanny valley, moving 3D model territory instead of looking at an actual person. It's kind of how I picture it. But then last but not least, of course, content. People are just going to watch content on this thing. And I think this is the industry, now that Apple's jumping into it, that is poised to explode. Like, we've had VR games and VR videos for a long time, and Apple is now also able to do this. They, of course, put their own spin on it, and they can use the power and the draw of the Apple brand to get content creators and big motion picture studios and sports leagues and all kinds of creatives to work to make content that looks really good, specifically.
Bro, imagine a movie that's like a whole world experience, bro, with that, John. I know they have stuff like that already. Like, they have like cinemas that are kind of like super massive semi domes, whatever, but nah,
On
bro.
Apple's headset and in Apple's formats. I can personally say from my demo, hell yes, I would pay to watch an NBA game courtside in the VR headset. The quality is good enough, and obviously it's not going to be as immersive as feeling the energy from the crowd, but you're not paying courtside prices. You'd probably pay, this is a total guess, 10, $20 to watch an NBA game courtside or have some subscription to do that. I would totally do that, and it would be fun.
Bro,
But
you
even with regular
right.
2D content like movies, just watching a regular.
You know how many people, bro, what? You know how many people would pay $20 to watch one game if they could? What? $20 for one game. Bro, how much is a normal ticket to an NBA game, bro? Come on, bro. Courtside view, bro. So imagine that. But I mean, that might tarnish the quality of it. But then again, nah, bro. Like,
Movie, you can totally just sit back, put the headset on, maybe even put some headphones on, and just like on a plane seat, just watch a movie as if you're in a theater for one, which is pretty sweet. There is that digital crown on the side that actually lets you spin it clockwise to move in more immersion and fully envelop you in the VR environment, or you can turn it counterclockwise to bring in more of your real world environment with pass through in your peripheral vision. Kind of a neat trick. And then there's also this kind of weird feature where you can take 3D photos and videos with the cameras built into the headset itself. And I did not like this one. So there was a demo of like a recording from a headset camera of a kid blowing out some candles on a birthday cake, basically. And I got to watch this actual scene in the actual Apple headset. So because there's two cameras like front facing, they can record stereoscopic 3D. So you can turn on the recording and in that moment sit down and record a super immersive video, and then when you watch it back in the headset, it's like you're reliving this moment in 3D, which can feel kind of cool, but I can't get the image of like the dad at the birthday party with the headset on just recording things like walking around. It just doesn't it's what kind of memory is that for the other people around you? You know, like I saw this and I immediately
Okay, I feel your point there. I feel your point there. That would look weird. That would look weird. And like if everyone had it on walking around recording, we would just be seeing this. That would look very weird. But you know what Apple should do? Since they're kind of unique to the wearer after they scan your eye and whatever, they should have it so that with like I don't know, RFID or with Bluetooth, your 3D rendered avatar should cloak your headset through the eyes of another headset. That's what they should do. Yo, bro, what? So if you have your headset on and someone else have a headset on and they're looking at you, they will see your 3D version over the headset. So if they take a picture, your 3D version, that would be so sick. And with the way our technology is going, very soon that 3D version, that augmented reality version of yourself can look very realistic and it could probably blend in to your real body very seamlessly. And that would be so sick. So then, if you're walking around, everybody in the party has one of these things on and they're all taking pictures and videos of each other, it wouldn't matter. No one would see that. But that's almost like the Matrix there too. That's kind of scary when you think about it, because we're gonna just be walking around with these masks on. I don't know, but the positivity of it is really cool. It's really cool. I really might get me one of these. This is too sick.
thought back to the reasons we all know why Google Glass failed, which is it was ahead of its time, but it's also like
True.
you're walking around with a camera on your face, and everybody knows that you have a camera on your face.
True.
It just wasn't cool. Dad, what are you doing? Why are your eyes sticking out through the headset? So, all right, the number one question I've gotten after I've actually tried this thing is it any good? Is this headset any good? And the answer is, well, yeah, some of the parts of this headset that I tried are actually the best I have ever seen in any VR headset by a mile, specifically the eye tracking and the hand tracking. Now, of course, it's going to be up to developers to really make it good, but I think the foundational, like, how do you use it part is pretty amazing. But that doesn't mean there aren't any downsides. All right, number one, there was no haptics, of course, because you don't have controllers. You're just doing everything with your hands in the air. There's no way to have any sort of haptic feedback. There was a demo that I did where, like, I stuck my hand out, a wall on the other side of the room opened up, and a dinosaur was back there, and a butterfly flew out. I held out my hand, and the butterfly flew up and landed on my finger. It could track and see all of that information, and the volumetric, all the computation to make that happen was amazing. But when the butterfly landed and I didn't feel anything, there was that moment of like, oh, right, this is a VR headset. But then number two, this was interesting. This is pretty heavy. This is a pretty heavy VR headset. Kind of the same way that AirPods Max, the Apple's metal headphones, are heavier than most plastic headphones. There's a reason why most other VR headsets are just plastic. It's not because that's cheap. It's because it's lightweight. It's fatiguing to have a heavy thing on your head. And this is a headset made of metal and glass. It's heavy. Now, it is also super well built. Like, there is no arguing that. But I do wonder about using it for longer than the half hour that I did. I wonder if it would be more fatiguing to my head. That's also actually why the battery isn't attached to it. That would be a ton of weight to carry on your head, so they connected the battery instead through a proprietary cable, and that actually can sit next to you on the couch or in your back pocket. And that brings us to the other thing, the battery life. 2 hours.
What?
2 hour battery life on the headset.
That's small.
Which is not that great. It's not that long. Now, there's a USB-C port on the battery bank, and you can plug that into the wall for infinite time. But the second you unplug from the wall, 2 hours from that pretty hefty battery bank, which is like, okay, maybe most people won't be spending a lot of time in the headset. But you did also just show us, Apple, an ad of people like watching a movie in the headset. That's already, like, most movies are 2 hours plus. So something worth thinking about.
That's true.
I'm sure people will make bigger external batteries for this thing, but 2 hours. And then also, I couldn't get a firm answer here on if there are fans inside or not, but I think there's fans. Like, there's certainly vents for fans anyway. And if you're gaming for long enough or using it for long enough, do those spin up? Do they ever get loud? Do they ever kill your battery? That's kind of unclear. But then, of course,
Those
the
are
main thing
good
that everybody's
questions.
talking about, it's expensive. It's $3,500. So
That
is
is
that
pretty
pricey?
expensive.
Yeah, that's very expensive.
But do you think it's worth it?
But this is the thing
It's
that
a whole
is always
computer,
weird with
bro.
Apple products. Like there is no direct comp. Like you always say it's expensive, but like compared to what? And they did this with the Pro Display XDR. They've done this with even AirPods Max a little bit. But like there are several things that this headset does that no other headset does. The eye tracking, the hand tracking, that's super good. Even if an equivalent headset came along today and did all of the same stuff that this does, hardware and software wise, it still wouldn't have FaceTime. It still wouldn't have like looking at a Mac and then the ecosystem allowing the Mac's display to pop up. So this is kind of something that only Apple could pull off. So bottom line, I got to try it. I thought it was extremely impressive, but at the end of the day, this is not a product for the masses. I mean, obviously, right? It's $3,500. It has the word Pro in the name too. But this feels like the Series Zero, like the Apple Watch. Remember when the Apple Watch first came out, the Series Zero, where it's really going to be up to the first gen, the early adopters, and the developers to decide the direction that this thing goes, to decide what people actually want to use it for. And that'll shape the future versions of it that we may eventually get down the road. Then maybe someday there's like a Vision SE that's like $400 that the masses will all adopt, and it'll be this next generation hit product, maybe. But as of right now, this is very much in the sort of early adopter, people like me, people like watching this video testing phase to figure it out. So that's the Apple Vision Pro. It's the rich person's toy and the developer's muse for right now, but we'll see how far this thing goes in the near future. It's coming out next year. It's not that far off. It's not that far away. It's really interesting times. Either way, this was also part of a huge entire WWDC keynote. So if you want to watch my recap of the rest of that stuff, ideally get subscribed because there's going to be a video recap of the biggest announcements, of which there are many other things. And also, I'll shout out the Waveform podcast to get subscribed there too, because the next episode, I'll just say it, it's a banger. It's pretty sick. So hit sub, hit like, hang out in the comments. That's been it for this one. Thanks for watching.
All right, my
Catch you guys
man.
in the next one.
All right, guys. So y'all got it. That's that new Apple Pro headset. It looks sick. It looked like something I would want. You know what I mean? It looked like it could help you with your productivity. But it is pricey, and he did have some real good points, especially with the fan and the weight of it. Like, you don't want something too heavy, and with the fan, do they come on and do they get loud? That's real good points there, because if they get loud, more than likely they're right next to your ears. You know what I'm saying? So anything you're listening to, unless you have like real good noise cancellation, but that would be hard because it's speakers, not headsets. I'm not like AirPods. I mean, you know what I mean. So there's all that, yo. But I'm gonna get back to my drawing. Continue drawing. I just really wanted to. I saw this product. I saw it yesterday, and then I saw he dropped a video on it, and I wanted to like find out more about it and share any knowledge about it. You know what I mean? So you may not know him, but you may have stumbled on my video, but now you know this too. So have a great day, everybody. Hope you get to drawing. I'm gonna get to drawing, and I'm gonna see y'all next time.